I recently spent a month in Tallinn, Estonia, living and working with 20 other people in the digital nomad community as part of a hacker paradise experience. Spoiler alert, it was amazing, I loved it, and I will do it again. But it's not for everybody. And even with 17 years under my belt with the digital nomad lifestyle, I had to make some adjustments to my own remote work lifestyle to get through the month. In this video, I will describe life at Hacker Paradise and other similar remote work retreats and co-living programs, and I'll share what I learned so you can decide if Hacker Paradise is a good fit for your own remote work lifestyle. And don't just take it from me, you will also hear from 5 of my fellow Hacker Paradise participants about their experiences as well. Let's do this. If you've been subscribed to my Insider Scoop newsletter, you'll know that this year I've been experimenting with a whole new way of living and traveling around the world as a digital nomad. Specifically, I've been experimenting with co-living and co-working as a way to travel the world and to outsource some of the logistics of travel planning and to develop a social network of like-minded people with whom I can live, work, and discover my destination. Hacker Paradise is a co-living, co-working program designed to help people do just that. And before we go any further, I want to debunk any misconceptions that Hacker Paradise is a program for hackers. It's not. It's for anybody who works remotely and is interested in doing so from abroad. One of the primary reasons why I wanted to try Hacker Paradise is because I was tired of trudging through the logistics of travel planning. In my episode about the ugly truth of full-time travel, as well as my episode about the pros and cons of digital nomad life, I talk about how energetically draining travel planning can be. From choosing your destination to finding accommodation and then making sure that it's going to be suitable for remote work as well as the activities that you'd like to do, it's a lot of work. And then when you arrive, it's a whole other kind of work.
You know, it takes all the planning off of you. You don't have to do any of that. And I think, you know, when you're first going into a new city, like, you know, you don't speak the language, you don't know the area. It's really helpful.
Hacker Paradise helps with a soft landing in a new destination. If you feel out of your element when you arrive to a new place, especially if it's a super foreign culture compared to what you're accustomed to, just the presence of other people who are in the same boat as you can make it a little bit easier and more fun to get out there and discover your destination. One of the things that sets Hacker Paradise apart from other co-living, co-working programs is their weekly schedule of activities designed to help people connect and have fun and go deeper with their experiences, as well as to share and level up their skills. It's not a travel agency, it's an experience.
I like the facilitators, the concept of facilitation, the fact that they animate the community during the week with small stuff like deep, meaningful conversations, like the potluck that we have every Tuesday, and other stuff. But at the same time, they motivate people to do other things.
In our first week together in Tallinn, we got together as a group for an hour to brainstorm various activities that people wanted to do during our month in Estonia. It was really interesting to see how other people like to discover their destinations. And by the end of the hour, we had a whole list of activities, excursions, restaurants, and more to choose from.
Being willing to share, being willing to be a planner, like research the country a little bit, plan trips. I think that these trips are the best when everybody gives and receives to the community.
It took me a bit to understand how collaborative the Hacker Paradise experience is. Because our facilitators paved the way initially with the program of weekly activities and engaging in our Slack channel, I kind of thought that they were also going to take the lead in organizing all of these things that we brainstormed. And while they do a little bit, it's really, if you want to get the most out of a Hacker Paradise trip, everybody contributes. A perfect example was how Didier coordinated a small group of us to eat at one of Tallinn's Michelin-starred restaurants, which was an experience I will never forget. Didier has done lots of HP trips, and this has become one of his signature moves.
When I was in Lisbon, I wanted to do one 2-star restaurant in Lisbon. And then I just talked with people around me and they said, oh, I could be interested. Oh, I never made that. And we just created, I think in 1 hour, a group of 8 persons. And then I traveled also solo, not only with HP. And it became my tradition to find a 1-star, a 2-star restaurant when I'm traveling, whatever the destination. And so for this one in Tallinn, I decided to contact the group before we were here, because I know it's difficult sometimes to get seats in successful restaurants. That's my experience. So now I know I have to organize myself before. And so 8 people, we were 8 to go to the NOMA restaurant here in Tallinn.
This is one of the pleasant surprises I had about the HP experience. I wouldn't necessarily have gone to a Michelin-starred restaurant on my own. I also wouldn't have rented a car and driven to a national park in another part of the country for a day trip. Or I wouldn't have visited some of the museums and galleries that I went to. But because other people on the trip were spearheading these activities, it was easy to join along and to have a more well-rounded experience.
I like the group being together and the similar community aspect of this that forms. There's people from all over, so you get to meet people, get to go places together, and really explore the cities together.
I like the way the community organizes itself during the weekends. On the week, I'm very organized. I work a lot, so I don't do a lot of things during the week, but on the weekend, we do a lot of things with groups.
Now, this is where things kind of went sideways for me. Although work-life balance as a digital nomad is something that I'm very familiar with, and I even created a whole episode about it, I found myself having to relearn some of the principles of work-life balance all over again during my Hacker Paradise trip. Before you can officially sign up for Hacker Paradise, you actually get on a call with one of the people on the HP team to make sure that you'll be a good fit for the program. One of the things that they make sure of is that you have a remote career, or at least a project that you're working on. HP is not for people on vacation. It is designed to be a trip where people live, travel, and work together. But everybody has a very different work schedule. Many, if not most of the people on my HP program were remote employees of companies, and they had to keep specific hours. So people who worked for North American companies had to work North American hours, and they tended to work from around 4 until midnight. People who worked for European companies worked during the day. And regardless of whatever hours someone kept, when they weren't working, they would be doing cool stuff, like really cool stuff. And with a really inclusive environment, everybody was invited. It would pop up in Slack. Hey gang, at 2 p.m. I'm gonna check out this cafe or go to this museum. If you wanna join, let's meet in the lobby at 1:30. Every day, all day, messages like this would show up. The challenge for me was that I get to make my own hours, which meant that I could choose whatever activities I wanted to do, whenever they were happening. Unfortunately, when there was always something cool happening, I totally lost my equilibrium of work-life balance. People like Didier had to coach me a little bit to get my balance back.
I have a management position in a company, so I know that I need to be disciplined during the week. And I'm maybe older in the group, but also I don't have the FOMO, which is typical of the generation after me. So that's one of the advice I would say. Don't put yourself under pressure to do everything. It doesn't matter. Do the things you would like really to do. That's what I would say.
It's not like everybody's working 8 to 5 or 12 to 8 or whatever. We all have our own little cliques of, this person's working, that person's working. Very easy to get your work done. You just go to one of the co-working areas or stay in your room if that's more convenient.
And that's the other thing. I love to be with people, but as an introvert, I only recharge when I'm alone. So not only did I have to create time and space to get work done, but I also had to create time and space to just be on my own. And one thing that I dramatically underestimated in planning out my year of experimental travel with co-living and co-working programs was the amount of energy that goes into living, working, and traveling with a group of people.
I like to do one of these programs and then take a break and travel either by myself or with people I met in these programs, mostly because it's a lot of very intense social interaction in one go.
Renee was not the only person I spoke to who said this. Quite a few Hacker Paradise alumni mentioned that they like to take a couple of months after a Hacker Paradise trip to do something different and recharge a bit. I went into my Hacker Paradise experience after 2 months of pretty intense social travel. So HP was month 3, and I felt the pinch. So much so that I actually restructured the rest of my year of travel so that I could have a little more time to just live and work a little more intentionally. That said, it's the people that make Hacker Paradise an amazing experience. I don't even have words for how incredible it was to spend time with this amazing group of 20 people from around the world. So I'll just let some of them say it for me.
I'm used to living alone, kind of going along life by myself, and then to get into this situation where, you're surrounded from, it could be 8 people, it could be 20 people, and, finding people you like and, just kind of being with them every day, all day, if you want, or, part of the day.
I feel like if you want to do HP trip, you have to, kind of be willing to connect with everybody on the group. I feel like that's the whole point of like traveling with HP, right? Is to connect with like-minded people, and then just try to understand like different people from like different background and cultures.
People are very open in these travels. You know, I think because everybody's in the same situation, so they really like to engage. So you don't feel alone, but if you want to be alone, you can be alone. So you're like, it's like you have your individuality, but at the same time, you're not alone if you don't want it, you know, and everybody respects that. So that was kind of surprising for me, because that's like a Brazilian, you do everything together as a family, but here, you want to do it together, you can do it. But if you don't want to do it together, that's fine, no pressure, you know? Yeah. So this environment is very healthier, and that's what it surprised me in that way.
Hacker Paradise is not just for single people. In fact, if you travel as a couple and you share a room, the cost per person to be part of this program is significantly lower. But beyond that, something like Hacker Paradise can actually be really instrumental for couples to have individual experiences as well as collective ones.
HP helps you to connect with people outside of your bubble, because when you're in a couple, you're in a bubble, right? You do everything together, you do. So with HP, you have different contexts, different, how you say that, different interests around people. So each one have one personality, and that change a little bit, and maybe helps with a new perspective inside of a couple. You have to respect the individuality of the other one. So even when you're in a big group, like you try not to do everything together, even if you're all the time together. So it's more like you can do your Dunn it buddy, and you do mine, and I'm working here, you wanna hang out with someone. So it's good in the third way, you have like friends to go around. You know, I don't have to wait for him, and him don't have to wait for me to do things.
So far in this video, you've heard from people from North America, Europe, South America, and Asia. While the majority of HP participants tend to be North American or European, it's still quite a cultural mishmash. This is pretty cool because everybody is collectively out of their element while discovering this new destination. But because we're all from different places, we also see the place we're visiting through the filter of our own cultural lens. And this is an amazing cross-cultural exploration in and of itself.
I think the biggest surprise for me was to realize that coming from different countries, the group, we can have different sensitivities, and because we have different cultures. And yeah, you just have to be aware about that.
This is gonna sound kind of funny. I didn't realize how American I was. And like, I had to break through some American norms I had. I would say that the most surprising thing to me was things I didn't realize were American, that I thought were global.
Before I joined Hacker Paradise in Estonia, people I spoke to were confused about why I was doing it after all of these years as a digital nomad. They were like, isn't it for beginners to learn how to be digital nomads? Not particularly. Although it is a nice way to have a soft landing in an unfamiliar environment and to get some travel experience in the safety and comfort of a group setting, it's not so much about how to do it, it's about who you're doing it with. And there were plenty of people on my HP trip that had many years of experience as digital nomads. All right, so you do like one a year, 1 or 2 a year?
Yeah, I would say like every year I do one.
So do you end up getting together with or traveling with Hacker Paradise people outside of Hacker Paradise?
Actually, I did multiple times actually. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there are a couple of people like I met in Greece, and then we went to the Swiss Alps. We went to like this Swiss Escape co-living space. And then like some places like southern France, Aix-en-Provence. One of the HP member was living there, and then so I visited her for a month.
After 12 years of full-time travel and living super locally along the way, I burned out of the lifestyle. It took me a few years to realize that the root cause of that burnout was not having a social network of people that I could connect with and travel with around the world. People who understood the lifestyle and had the same sense of wanderlust, and who were also balancing a remote career along the way. Through programs like Hacker Paradise, you get to meet other people who have the same lifestyle and the same mindset and remote careers. You'll inevitably connect with at least a few of the people on an HP program on a deeper level, and you can continue to stay in touch after the program ends. And if you meet enough of these people, over time, you'll develop your own network of friends who are also living and traveling around the world. A bunch of the people on this trip in Estonia had been on other Hacker Paradise trips together, and it was really cool to see them reunite. And even outside of Hacker Paradise, some of these people get together for various co-living, co-working adventures of their own design. All this to say, I think Hacker Paradise is a great program for people who are new to the lifestyle, as well as veterans like me. The people on my program had a huge variety of digital nomad lifestyle experience, from a few months to a few decades, and it was amazing. All right, here we are, the moment we've all been waiting for. Is Hacker Paradise worth the investment? One of the reasons I haven't done any co-living, co-working programs over the years was because I knew that I could just do it myself for less money. I could find my own accommodation and activities in the same destination for way less money, so why would I do the program? There were two things that I was not taking into consideration. One was the value of outsourcing the travel planning and logistics, and to know that I can just show up, the accommodation's going to be great, it's going to be in a good neighborhood, there's going to be good internet, there's a co-working space nearby, etc., etc., etc. Two, I didn't even consider the value of the social element to co-living and co-working programs like HP, which, as I said earlier, was why I had that burnout in 2018. So yeah, it's going to cost you more than if you did it all on your own. But between outsourcing the travel logistics and having the social element, I think there's huge value to the program that makes it worthwhile. And because it's not a lifestyle that you would do every single month of the year, spending that little bit extra for the month that you do an HP program is totally justifiable in my mind. The actual cost varies depending on the destination, but for a ballpark figure, I'd say it costs $2,000 to $3,000 for a month. You can also join a program for just 2 weeks instead of a month, and in some cases you can get your own accommodation and just pay for the program activities. And once you've done a Hacker Paradise trip, you also get a discount on future experiences. Speaking of discounts, I have one for you right now if you're interested in checking out Hacker Paradise. Pro Hobo 100 will get you $100 off Hacker Paradise, and I've included this code as well as a special link in the description and in the first comment, so you can check them out if you'd like. I hope that this Hacker Paradise review has been helpful for you to decide if it's a program you'd like to participate in. If you have any questions, feel free to drop a comment and I will get back to you with an answer. I'm Nora Dunn, aka the Professional Hobo, and I'll catch you next time.